Clemson QB Kelly Bryant was knocked out of the game on this sock late in the second QT. Clemson-syracuse.twitter.com or 2Y07Kelly, Bartboat right at Bartboat October 14, 2017 Fourth quarter Clemson 24, Syracuse 27,000 That's all she wrote. Clemson was outplayed in every facet of the game and was justifiably upset by Syracuse. Kelly Bryant was knocked out of the game late in the first half, and outside of a pair of long runs by Tavian Feaster and Travis Etienne, Clemson's offense was ineffective. Granted, it's not the end of the world for the Tigers. They did lose last season before winning the national championship. Still, this was a thorough beatdown. Syracuse won the first down battle, 28-16, ran 83 plays to Clemson's 57, one time of possession 3,452 to 2,508, and held Clemson to 2 of 11 on third down, 941 points, but Syracuse's field goal wasn't the main takeaway from that drive. It was the 604 it took off the clock during the 16-play drive. It does open the door for Clemson to take the lead on this ensuing drive, but given Spence's accuracy struggles this season, a 3-point deficit is safer than it should be. Third quarter Clemson 24, Syracuse 24,000 This one could go down to the wire. Zarek Cooper has been serviceable so far in Bryant's stead, but Alex Spence's missed 38-yard field goal blew the Tigers' chance to take their first lead of the game. It was his second miss of the game, and may open up a position battle during the upcoming open week. 616 Another day, another 50-yard touchdown run for Travis Etienne. The true freshman tied this game up with a 52-yard sprint to the end zone, his sixth score of the season. That's a play to remember if Clemson ends up winning this game. 712 Zarek Cooper is in the game for the Tigers as Kelly Bryant has been officially ruled out of the game. In his second drive, the redshirt freshman led a 7-play, 29-yard scoring drive ending in a 30-yard Alex Spence field goal. Syracuse answered back immediately with the 4-play, 82-yard scoring drive, retaking the lead on a 30-yard pass from Eric Dungy to the nation's leading receiver, Steve Ishmael. Clemson fans, you should be rightfully nervous. It's one thing if the Tigers' offense was struggling, but their defense has been a shell of itself so far tonight. It'll be an interesting rest of the night. Second quarter Clemson 14, Syracuse 17,000 The biggest story heading into tonight's game is now the biggest story at halftime. Quarterback Kelly Bryant is playing on an injured ankle, but head coach Dabo Swinney assured media and fans he was ready to go for tonight. Bryant started the game off hot but labored through the latter parts of the first half. He eventually left the game after taking a scary hit late in the second quarter. Bryant was slammed to the turf, hit his head and didn't move for several minutes before being helped off the field. Swinney said it looked like Bryant suffered a concussion on the play. It would already be a head-scratching move to put Bryant back in the game at the start of the third quarter, but now it seems like a lock that Bryant won't see the field until the Georgia Tech game in 2 weeks. 349 Syracuse continues to outplay Clemson in the first half, but the Tigers' defense came up with a big goal line stand to hold the Orange to 3 points on the drive. Clemson's secondary hasn't looked like its usual self, but Syracuse has run its offense to near perfection so far. Kelly Bryant has also not looked 100% healthy so far, and is obviously limping around on the field. His ankle will be something to keep an eye on for the rest of the night. 831 Clemson's defense tied the game up on a 63-yard fumble return by Tanner Muse. It's a huge play for obvious reasons, but it came after an offensive pass interference call wiped out a Steve Ishmael touchdown catch. Clemson's cornerbacks are clearly struggling with Syracuse's receivers so far, but a momentum-swinging play like this could go a long way. First quarter Clemson 7, Syracuse 14,000 It's been a while since a Clemson opponent moved the ball so effectively this early in the game. Syracuse has outgained the Tigers 152,122 in the opening quarter, and is the first team to take a lead into the second quarter against Clemson since Auburn on September 9. 513 We're less than one quarter into this one, and I hope y'all betting folks took the over. Alex Spence missed a 35-yard field goal and the Tigers' celebrated secondary badly blew a coverage, leaving Irvin Phillips wide open for a 66-yard touchdown. It's a concerning start for defense that's often called the best in the nation, as Syracuse has already racked up 150 total yards in the first quarter. 1037 By the time I finished the last update, Clemson gave me reason to send another one. 3 plays, 57 yards for the Tigers, ending with a 37-yard touchdown run from Tavian Feaster, who ran untouched to pay dirt. We might be in for a fun Friday night. 1144 This Friday the 13th game is off to a spooky start for Clemson's defense, which gave up plays of 21 and 11 yards before surrendering a 23-yard touchdown pass from Eric Dungy to Dante Strickland. It's the first opening drive touchdown the Tigers have given up all season, and Syracuse made a 10-play, 72-yard scoring drive look easy. We'll get our first look at Kelly Bryant and the offense shortly. Pre-game thoughts. Not what Dabo, Swinney or many high school coaches, players and fans would want. Clemson plays tonight, on Friday the 13th, against Syracuse in an ACC Atlantic Division game at the Carrier Dome in New York. It's not that there is superstition. Swinney and many others, particularly in the South, would prefer to leave Fridays in the fall to high school football. But television rights wield the influence that's brought us to tonight's kickoff. The game will be broadcast at 7 p.m. on ESPN. Friday night college football. ACC should punt. Clemson has actually played on Fridays more often than you might think. After last year's game at Boston College, the Tigers are facing their second regular season game on a Friday since 1956, and tonight's date at Syracuse marks the 44th regular season game that Clemson will have played on a Friday. Several notable postseason Clemson games have been played on Fridays, including the January 1, 1982, Orange Bowl win over Nebraska that gave the Tigers their first national championship, and the December 29, 1978, Gator Bowl win over Ohio State that marked legendary Buckeyes coach Woody Hayes' last game, after his infamous punch. As it happened, Clemson 56, Kent State 3 as it happened, Clemson 14, Auburn 6 as it happened, Clemson 47, Louisville 21 as it happened, Clemson 34, Boston College 7 as it happened, Clemson 31, Virginia Tech 17 as it happened, Clemson 28, Wake Forest 14. But the players on the turf at the Carrier Dome are more likely to influence tonight's outcome than the timing. Clemson quarterback Kelly Bryant, who was injured and did not return during last week's win over Wake Forest, practiced this week and seems available to play, though Swinney may not publicize his plans before kickoff. Bryant's running and passing are a big reason the Tigers sport one of the nation's most balanced offensive attacks. They average 471 yards per game, 237.3 rushing and 233.7 passing. Related why Kelly Bryant is so important to Clemson's success. Hunter Renfrow, Ray McLeod and Deon Cain each have at least 17 receptions this season. A whopping 19 different Clemson players have caught passes so far. Renfrow is fourth in the nation with 12 receptions on third down. 5 different Clemson players have at least 28 carries through 6 games: Bryant, Travis Etienne, Tavian Feaster, Adam Choice and C.J. Fuller. Etienne is averaging 8.2 yards per carry to rank 5th in the nation. Dorian O'Neal, who's made 2 pick-6 interceptions this season, and Kendall Joseph have each recorded more than 40 tackles. NFL futures for Tigers listed in first round of early mock draft pro polls. Keeping up with Clemson alumni in the NFL. Syracuse, meanwhile, is led by quarterback Eric Dungy, who's passed for 1,802 yards, 9 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, averaging more than 300 yards per game, while rushing for a team-high 325 yards and 8 touchdowns. Syracuse receiver Steve Ishmael leads the nation with 56 receptions for 729 yards. Paris Bennett leads the team with 56 tackles. The teams have played just 5 times, and since Syracuse joined the ACC in 2013, Clemson has won 4 in a row by double digits. The Tigers throttled Syracuse 540 last year. This year, they're carrying the nation's longest winning streak at 11 games, dating back to last season, and they've won 12 consecutive games on opponents' fields, the longest such streak in Clemson history. Refresh this page throughout the hours before kickoff and after each quarter for live updates.